We're here with Adam Newman. There's Emiya Starlock with the Bluefin Tamashii Nations interview at New York Comic Con 2014. First off, Adam, is there what you could tell us what's new for NYCC?
What's new here? Well, Buddies is kind of a focus right behind me, so this is relevant. Tamashii Buddies. We've got some big displays out here. We're doing a lot of Dragon Ball right now is what we're starting off. We're going to continue with Sailor Moon. This is a new, I know your core demographic, probably this is child's play, but it is a big focus here. But as far as it is Comic-Con, so we're not just about Japanese characters right now. We've got our Injustice that we are unveiled, the Superman mold over there, so we have that. Also showing Harlequin off as well. Of course, the first time in color, that's right. We had the non-color sculpt out before. We got Harlequin, well, she's got her big hammer there as well, of course. And the Injustice series is going to continue. Of course, Batman, Joker already in pre-order right now. Will be in the market probably early December.
With Batman and Joker having masks, are Superman and Harley also going to have masks as well?
For right now, no, we're not thinking. We were going to do that for the whole line, but we didn't think they really even need a mask, and we're getting better with our technology for facial printing. For example, Michael Jackson. And so we don't think they really warrant a mask, and Harley Quinn always has the small mask anyhow, so we think we're going to skip it with that one. Maybe we'll come back to the masks with later releases. I mean, Bane obviously would need a mask, right? But also another thing that we're doing here on the upper end of, I was talking about Dragon Ball before with Buddies, we're unveiled, first time ever here at New York Comic Con, our Figuarts Zero EX series. The EX Figuarts Zero, so I think I got the order wrong there, but we've got Goku over there, huge, big sculpt, yeah, Super Saiyan 3, big sculpt. So that's completely new here, first time we're ever showing that.
Going back to Injustice, can you give us any information on what might be next after Harley and Superman?
Actually, nothing's decided. It's completely dependent on the poll we're doing right now on the iPad. So if you're here in New York Comic Con, we'd like you to stop by, and we're asking the fans what they want next. It's what we do with Dragon Ball. The reason why we're doing Brawly right now is because of last year's surveys. So
awesome. Speaking of Dragon Ball, everyone wants to know, obviously, the question that you're probably sick of hearing: the reissues, Trunks, Super Saiyan, Vegeta, Gohan, all the popular $300+ figures on eBay right now. What's the status on that? Is there any chance we might see reissues for people who are getting into the line late?
Well, for the non-exclusives, like we haven't done a reissue of Gohan, I think that's foreseeable. We haven't decided our policy on the web exclusives yet. I mean, we did this, the Super Saiyajin Goku Figuarts Zero, we did a reissue which was originally a web exclusive. I think what's more likely to happen before that is all those items that were web exclusives for Power Rangers that are now sold out, like White Ranger, which Akiba Ranger in Japan. I think we could foreseeably see some reissues on those because we repackaged those here anyhow. They weren't necessarily web exclusives. So it'll depend on what our policy is regarding the web exclusives. They were open market products here, but they were Tamashii web items back in Japan. Of course, you're going to see the prices on those continue to go up. I know there's a huge demand for the Super Saiyan Vegeta, but there's nothing confirmed for that at all for a reissue. We did have the San Diego Comic-Con Vegeta, so there was a timely release with Vegeta. And now I know people are obviously getting excited about Vegito, which we have in the booth on display here as well. But we haven't announced the actual release date of Vegito.
I guess ultimately we might get other versions of Vegeta later on down the line.
It's possible. It's very possible. He's a very popular character, so.
A lot of people are also asking about Nappa and Shenron.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up Shenron because we look at what's happening with Brawly right now, which is a more expensive item, and it's just the pre-orders are off the hook. And I actually went back and I said, hey guys, if people are willing to fork out all this money for Dragon Ball stuff, maybe we should bring in the big guy and bring in Shenron the dragon. We had a sculpt that we displayed in the past, so it's something we'll look at again. Obviously, he's not going to be in scale with the Figuarts. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but no, that won't happen.
They say it's like a Figuarts Zero.
A Figuarts Zero said it's possible. I think I think he'd be best for articulation personally. I mean, because we do MonsterArts, right? It's not a stretch. It's not a stretch at all.
For the Figuarts Zero EX, the Super Saiyan Son Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, what was the inspiration to do that one? And what was the motivation to do Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku as the first one in the line?
Well, our biggest character category right now here in the US is actually a Dragon Ball, and it's coming out from multiple, we're going to say character category, right? But then we also have, we have SH Figuarts, we have Buddies now, we have the regular Figuarts Zero. So I think it was just a matter of timing, and we had the Super Saiyan 3 SH Figuarts that came out. It was just a timing thing. And now we have some surprises that I can't say anything about, but we unveiled the curtain here, but we're gonna continue with the unveils later this month at Tamashii Nations in Japan for this line.
Now that you mentioned these special things you're unveiling, are we gonna get that father-son Kamehameha maybe in that scale?
That's something. I mean, we're gonna have to have a poll. It's too early to have the poll for the Figuarts Zero EX, but that's something obviously we will now put in there for.
Awesome. How has the response been so far for Figuarts Zero, Mighty Morphin?
So far with the Green Ranger, they all said that he has a really nice butt. That's what they keep saying, but that's what all the comments say. The sculpt is a really high-level sculpt. Jason David Frank loves it himself, and Saban's really, really happy about it from the approvals end. And I think the Power Rangers series really lends itself well to a high-end statue that's pretty affordable, as well. So I'm hoping to continue it. But I think it's a wait and see, because the Figuarts Zero line is not really pre-order driven. It's actually in-market driven item. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Again, that'll come out at the end of the year, so looking forward to that.
Any other plans for the Mighty Morphin line?
Right now we're taking a little rest because, they announced a movie that's coming out in 2016. We want to wait and see what happens with that. So 2015 is going to kind of be a little break for us. But again, we can come back with reissues on all this stuff.
How about other Sentai series or tokusatsu works like Kamen Rider or other Sentai teams, like maybe offered as, of course, Power Rangers in the U.S.?
We don't have any definitive data. Like in all the polling we took, everybody's in our demographic. I'm not talking about kids. Everybody is just Mighty Morphin centric, but we're getting a lot of requests for Gokaiger right now. A lot of that. Maybe it's because of the Super Mega Force, or I have no idea. But a lot of people requesting those SH Figuarts that are originally web exclusives. Still, the demand for anything outside of Mighty Morphin is just not the same as Mighty Morphin. It would be awesome to do a Lord Zed baby Figuarts Zero, but well, it all depends on how the green goes. And again, we don't know yet because it hasn't gone to the market yet, so we don't know.
What was the reasoning to go for Gamera 2 version of Gamera over the other versions?
I don't know. I'm just being obvious. I mean, why should we have gone for the original Gamera version? I think when was the Gamera 2? What was that movie? I mean, what was the year of release of that movie? Right. We tend to start our SH MonsterArts line in general more for the younger demographics. So, 1996 was 18 years ago, right? People who watched it there are in their mid-20s, and to honestly speaking, the SH MonsterArts line, it's not being driven by the 40, 50-year-olds right now. It's still really a younger group that's going after it. So it doesn't mean we can't do the older Gamera, because we did the older Godzillas, later.
In the trilogy.
Right.
There are 3 Gamera movies in that trilogy. Why the second movie specifically?
I don't know the answer to that. That was for R&D, but I could go back. I mean, that was based on a Japan poll or survey. So,
any chance now that you're doing Gamera from the trilogy, like villains like Legion, Iris, Gauss?
Right now, no. All we have is just Gamera. But in MonsterArts, all we have is Godzilla, King Kong, and aliens in Predator right now. But as far as Gamera, that's the newest thing. We don't have any set plans right now for the expansion of it, but there could be surprises at Tamashii Nations.
Awesome. Were there any unique challenges working with the design for Godzilla 2014, being it's not originally a Japanese design?
No, but it's pretty faithful to the original, physicality of Godzilla, right? So it wasn't too much of it. His head is broad, but it's actually really small. So I mean, there was some really fine details that need to be dealt with on actually a smaller scale. But the articulation and the proportion wise, the bulk, none of it was a problem from what I hear. It was a pretty easy one to do.
With the stellar success of the Godzilla 2000 having achieved a very high secondary market price, obviously it's a regular release item, was there any plans of maybe a reissue of that one?
Of which?
Godzilla 2000.
The Godzilla, Millennium Godzilla, yeah. There's always a chance for that one. Yeah, that's high possibility.
And obviously...
Web exclusive, was it? No? So, no, why not?
And obviously ones like King Ghidorah.
We have Mega King Ghidorah right now, so we're voting that one. But we're looking at a lot of reissues because the Godzilla series as a whole, after the movie came out, was really just blowing up right now. Like all the other stuff that was just sitting on shelves just disappeared. So there is a big opportunity for a lot of reissues, and we might even do some specification changes for different versions of stuff as well.
A lot of fans are wondering the Mega Man, Rockman plans. Anything?
Right now, just, we have our Mega Man Zero. Maybe we'll continue with some more X stuff. Nothing solid right now that I can announce.
With the completion of the 5 bronze and the final gold coming out pretty soon, what is next for the St. Cloth Myth EX line?
Tamashii Nations. You'll have to see the Tamashii Nations event.
I'm guessing also that's the big announcement at Tamashii Nations, correct?
That's one of the very big announcements that'll be happening.
Very awesome. With all the new Gundam Wing releases in the line over the past year or two, how has the line been performing in the non-Japan US market for Robot Tamashii?
Pretty well. It depends on the character. I mean, obviously Gundam Wing is very popular here. But overall the line is growing and growing. For our Gundam stuff in the Tamashii Nations category, its metal build is just ridiculous. I mean, we're not just about articulation, we're about die-cast. So people love that line. Anything you could reveal to us about metal build in the future? You've been giving me some good feedback. I think when we talked in Image Anime once about a lot of stuff, and I think some of that stuff may come to fruition, but I can't say anything specific.
Well, speaking of another metal build that we've actually already seen the production design for, the Lancelot from Code Geass, we haven't heard anything. What's the status on that?
Nothing confirmed right now. I don't have anything on that.
We also noticed that with there's going to be the metal Robot Tamashii as well. And what was the inspiration for starting that line?
Well, it's not actually a Western market-driven idea. Asia, diecast is very popular, but it is here too as well, like anything Gokeen. And so, just to add some of that line's based on articulation, but adding diecast is something that is really kind of an Asian-centric thing we did with the line. We will have limited quantities available here in the U.S. for that line.
Awesome. For G Gundam, now you guys are finally releasing Master Asia, God Gundam and Master Gundam coming. Any other plans for G Gundam?
I mean, we have a lot of stuff on the board for Gundam in general, so it's very possible G will come out, more G.
Any plans for any Super Robot Chogogan stuff?
Nothing off the top of my head right now, but there's more to come. Super Robot Chogokin's not over.
The Figuarts Zero line, it's been put up the website for Terraformers, the Figuarts Zero line. Anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, it's the next Figuarts Zero line that we're going to be doing. Kingdom was something that we did that was, it's one of the anime and manga trends right now. But it's not a trend here in this market, so fortunately we won't be offering Terraformers. We didn't offer Kingdom either, but we don't see any trend right now. If people like it, not many people like cockroaches, but if you like Terraformers, I mean, it'll only be available through Parallel. We
saw the Dominator for Psychopaths in the Prop Plus line. Is that being offered here?
That's not a license issue, but probably just through the laws, on resembling an actual weapon, it won't be offered officially here in this market. But Proplica will continue. And the Moon stick did amazing. The Sailor Moon stuff's doing really, really well. We'll have more to come with Proplica, and a lot of it will be focused for the US as well, because the line's doing really well. It's really popular here at New York as well.
Any plans for Psychopath in general?
Right now, outside of that Proplica issue, with nothing in the other categories right now for that anime.
Is Kinnikuman being offered in the US?
No, there's a license issue, but the Tamashii stage ring is being offered in the US, so if you want to use it with your WWE figures, you can go ahead and do that.
Finally, listening fans about effects parts, are you offering license-specific ones like the buildings and stuff like that?
We have the two ones that are here at the event right now. The Toho special effects parts that are being offered here at the events. We'll continue doing stuff. I don't know. I can't really comment so much as to character specific.
Dragon Ball, maybe Dragon Ball.
There will be more effect sets that probably will be more non-character specific. Impact, that sort of explosion, that sort of thing.
Being a Westerner living in Japan, when coming back to the US, what is the most surprising experience you've had, good or bad, based on reactions from the product that you guys have offered here?
There have been a lot. The first one was Power Rangers. When I came here 2 years ago and we started launching that line here, because when I saw Power Rangers, I was in high school, and it wasn't a big thing for me. And then I left the country and I've been living in Japan for a long time. And I know Sentai, I know Tokusatsu, but I always figured it was I didn't think it was a big thing amongst adults, you know. Time had passed when I came back here. It was a huge trend, a legitimate trend, and it was just gigantic for, you know, in people in their 20s. That was one thing. And the other thing was recently with Sailor Moon as well. The reaction to Sailor Moon has just been phenomenal, and I was really surprised to see how strong it was here. I knew about Dragon Ball, but Sailor Moon kind of surpassed our expectations. And I knew it was popular. I mean, a lot of my friends were watching it when I was in high school, but when I came back here and I saw it, and the reaction to it was amazing. In the past, so another thing that even happened before that was really surprising to me was Tiger and Bunny. And that was surprising to me is how similar the reaction was to Japan, and that the demographic was really split 50-50 female-male, like girl, guy, liking Tiger and Bunny. Same thing as Japan. So I've been amazed by some of the similarities, actually, more so in the reactions, more so than the differences in the reactions.
Awesome, awesome. Out of this year, past year 2014, what are the most top performing products for the Tamashii Nations brand, and also the most underperforming?
As a whole, with character, Dragon Ball is our biggest character line. SH Figuarts is our biggest category overall. Highlights of this year will be anything Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and this is the most popular things here in the US. Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon. Also, we have really high expectations for Injustice and Michael Jackson. Basically items that are just the characters, well recognized, popular, and it's usually if it's part of the SH Figuarts template. But we've been seeing a lot of growth in Figuarts Zero as well, our non-articulated stuff as well. It's been really surprising, actually.
How about the underperforming stuff?
Nothing.
Everything's doing great?
Everything's doing really well. I mean, we don't have high expectations for certain product lines that don't have high recognition here. Like Wataru or, you know, some other things, right? But nothing's underperforming. Everything is actually overperforming.
Great, great. Oh, the Barnes & Noble deal, so far, what's the result? Have the products been selling well? Does the future look bright? Is it possible Barnes & Noble can play a bigger part when planning strategic properties?
Barnes & Noble's, everything's doing really, really well right now, and you'll see more of our product there. They're expanding into, Tamashii Nations is expanding into more stores, or just did actually, mid-September, expanded into more stores. So you'll see it more and more in Barnes & Nobles.
Very awesome. Is there any message you want to share with our fans? You know, anything, you know, you want them to buy, you know, you want them to do?
Your fans are pretty hardcore, but don't forget our buddies, Tamashii Buddies.
All right, thanks, Adam. Thanks for everything, man.
Thank you.